In a battle of unbeaten top 25 Division II football teams, number 21 UNC Pembroke fell on the road to number 11 Tuskegee 21-16. Full coverage of that game and a preview of the next one at Lenoir-Rhyne is coming up on the Black and Gold Report. The women's soccer team is off to a blazing start in the Peach Belt Conference, starting 4-0. We'll talk more about the team with Coach Lars Anderson later in the show. On the men's side, it's also been a perfect start to the conference portion of the season as the Braves sit near the top of the PBC standings. Just one remaining home match for the men at Lumbee River EMC Stadium, and it will be Saturday, October 22nd. UNCP volleyball dropped a pair of weekend matches against Georgia College and Augusta. The next home volleyball contest is Friday at 7 p.m. The inaugural UNCP swim and dive season kicked off last weekend in Columbia, South Carolina. 4 swimmers competed for the Braves and several personal bests were set. Also, the women's golf team competed this week at the Myrtle Beach Intercollegiate, and cross country competed at the Royals Challenge in Charlotte yesterday. For full results, visit uncpbraves.com. The Black and Gold Report starts now. Welcome to another episode of the Black and Gold Report presented by Pepsi, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Cameron Songer, and this week we talked to UNCP football coach Shane Richardson about his team's loss to Tuskegee. We'll also preview this weekend's in-state matchup against Lenoir-Rhyne. Later, we check in with women's soccer head coach Lars Anderson and talk about the recent success of his team. But first, it's my pleasure to be joined in studio by head football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Let's get into it now. Your team suffered its first setback of the season, a 21-16 loss at Tuskegee on Saturday. What were your big takeaways from that one?
I thought our team came ready to play, and I thought it was an exciting build-up to an important game for the region, for Division II, for our schedule. I thought our team handled it very, very well, working into that environment and just the build-up of having 2 ranked teams play each other. We did not finish the game like we had wanted to, did not finish the way we started. I thought we were in pretty good control for most of the game there up until the fourth quarter hit, and the momentum shifted. We were not able to change the momentum back into our favor, and I think that was just the big key to it. We've got to do a better job of being able to give 100% in everything that we do all the time so that things and scenarios like that, they don't come and sneak up on us on game day.
Let's break it down now a little bit. Start with the first quarter. A pair of forced fumbles by your defense, Code Black really stepping up early, led to a pair of field goals, including a career long for Matt Davis. UNCP was up 6-0 after the first 15 minutes. How do you explain the hot start?
I think they were just ready. They knew the implications of this game. They knew how important it was. They knew that getting out to a good, fast start was going to be important for us. We had talked about that during the week, and it was great to see that the defense was setting the tone early on there and able to help our offense to get the ball back and then set us up for a couple field goals. Matt Davis kicked the ball extremely well all day long, not only in field goals but kickoffs. I think he had 3 touchbacks, and then also punting the ball. He had a really good day as well. And so just early on, I think we felt really good about setting the tone and just being able to come out swinging, as we like to call it, and I felt really good about where we were.
In the second quarter now, the Braves scored early, a 22-yard touchdown pass to Taryn Huffman, put the Braves up by 2 scores, and the defense continued to hold. What were you seeing out of the defense in particular in the second quarter?
Yeah, I think defensively we got in a rhythm, we got in a groove, and we had talked about their offense all week long, and I think it was very similar to what we had practiced, and they felt confident in that. And so I think that was something that they could fall back on and rely on to say, all of our defensive calls were matching up to the things that they saw in practice, and they were able to really play with great confidence, great speed, and they were able to get off the ball very well, and we were able to stop them on most occasions.
For the second week in a row, your team went into the locker room at halftime with a double-digit lead. What were some of the points of emphasis at the break?
Well, halftime has been a little bit of a nemesis of ours, and it seems as though we've had to really coach up guys to know whether we need to finish the game better or whether we need to come from behind. And we just told them flat out that this is a game that we've got one half that we need to play our best here, and we're going to really like the end result if we do that. Well, we came out and we didn't play our best, and I thought we had a solid third quarter. We were able to gain another field goal, I believe, by Matt, and put the score at 16-0 going into the fourth quarter. But we weren't able to finish it out in the fourth quarter like we had wanted. And I think our guys, they were emotionally ready. It's just executionally, we didn't do what we needed to do.
Well, Tuskegee is noted for their home field advantage, their raucous student section. For the most part, they were pretty quiet throughout the afternoon last Saturday. How do you feel your team handled that environment?
I was really proud of our guys, the way that they went into there and handled that stadium, that student section, the whole build up to that. We had shown them footage and videos of what it was going to be like, so we had really intentionally prepared for that. And I thought they responded really well. I thought they knew that the emotion and just the hype of it wasn't going to be a deterrent from how we played. And they put that into practice on Saturday. I was really proud of the way they handled it, and I really thought it fueled our guys' energy, to be quite honest. And so we like going into environments like that, and I thought we did a great job of controlling the emotional sways of that. And now we've got to just make sure we work on executing throughout that emotional hype and vibe that we get from another person's stadium and audience like that.
All right, Coach, it's time for us to take our first time out. We'll be right back on the Black and Gold Report with Coach Shane Richardson right after this. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. I'm Cameron Songer, joined once again by head football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, your team up 13-0 at halftime on the road at Tuskegee. The third quarter was a quick one, the only scoring coming on a Matt Davis field goal. Just kind of walk us through that third quarter. It seemed like neither team really got an edge. It
was kind of a weird third quarter, and I thought it went by actually fairly fast. I thought we were able to run the ball a little bit, and I think they did the same, and the clock just kind of dwindled down there. And before I knew it, we were going into the fourth quarter, and we were pretty comfortable with where we were at that point in time. We just couldn't quite take that momentum and keep it going into the fourth quarter. But that third quarter went by really fast, and before you knew it, we were down to kind of crunch time.
Yeah, in that fourth quarter, that's where things turned around. You talked about it a little bit. Tuskegee scoring the final 21 points. Your team had some chances coming down the home stretch, but couldn't really make that come from behind effort. Walk us through the final 15 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, as a program, we talk about momentum a lot, and there's three things that we try to emphasize with momentum. Number one, you've got to be able to create your own momentum, and I thought we did that in the beginning. We did a good job of trying to really, number two, sustain and maintain the momentum, which is what you have to do. And then the third thing, which we didn't do so well, was you have to change it when you potentially lose it. And that's what happened in the fourth quarter. We lost the momentum a little bit. They were able to hit a touchdown on us. Offensively, we came back. We fumbled the ball. We gave it to them in their territory deep. They were able to score again. And at that point in time, no side of the ball, no phase of the game was able to really step up and do anything to give us a spark and give us an edge. And I think that's a great challenge for our team moving into this week is somebody's got to be able to take the bull by the horns and change the momentum back into our favor. Whether it's a special force return where we're able to open up something and get people involved and gain some good field position, whether it's an offensive play that sparks great field position, moving the ball or what have you, or even defense. We've got to be able to stop at least one of those touchdowns from happening. Somebody's got to be able to step up in those moments.
Looking at the regional and national impact of the game, it was a top 25 matchup between regional opponents. How do you think this game makes your team look and how it would affect both the regional and national polls?
Well, we try not to look into it too much, but obviously losing to the number 11 team in the country is different than playing an unranked opponent and losing to them per se. I think it gives our team great confidence to know that, hey, if that's the number 11th ranked team in the country, we can play with anybody. And we certainly played with them on Saturday. I believe it was just our own executional errors that we really had the mishaps on, and we were not able to capitalize on that. And so I think a lot of that game we controlled or didn't control what we were capable of, and that really led to the outcome of that. But I think from a national poll standpoint, we've got to make sure that we focus on one game at a time. And I think with this, it's a classic case of sometimes you lose a battle to try to win the war. And I think a great message is going to come out of this where it's a great wake-up call for our team to know that we've got to do some better things in practice. We've got to do some things during the game to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a position like this again.
Statistically, not an eye-popping stat sheet really on either side. It was a pretty close defensive affair throughout. Who are some of the players that stood out for UNCP?
I think offensively, the O-line did a pretty good job because I thought we were able to run the ball fairly effectively. Lawrence Keys, our senior offensive lineman, left tackle, I thought he did a fantastic job. He graded out really well and was very efficient in the blocking game, was really coachable during those moments of being able to make some in-game adjustments, and was a great leader out on the field for us. Defensively, Garrett Barnett, I thought he flew around, and he was very, very sound in his assignments, and had a couple of splash plays, as we call them, where you recognize him and notice him flying around and doing some really good things. And then, as I talked about, Matt Davis, I thought came through when he needed to. I thought he did everything possible to give us an edge in the kicking game.
Now, let's put that game in the rearview mirror now. You talked a little bit about momentum already. What kind of momentum do you take from this game and put moving forward into next week?
I think we've got a team of veterans and leaders that understand the importance of how to respond and how to bounce back from something like this. Our message to our team is a couple different areas where we've got to focus on. We've got to do a better job in practice of maximizing our 100% capacity, if you will. And that goes all the way from a focus standpoint, an effort standpoint, a sense of urgency in how we do things. And so that'll be something that we've got to make sure that we get corrected moving forward. Also, we've got to have guys that know that every time a coach tells them or coaches them on something to do, that it's pivotal, it's paramount, and it's critical to our success that they don't just think that, oh, well, I'll do it later, I'll do it on my own time, I'll do it when I'm comfortable. It's got to be something that is able to be put into place right away. First-time coachability is what we talk about, and they've got to be able to do that and practice it that way. And so those will be two really important key factors for our team moving forward. I really fully anticipate that we will bounce back, and I believe in our team. I believe that we've got a group of guys that they want to win, they want to be successful, they want to do it the right way, and now it's up to us as coaches just to lead them and show them that way.
All right, Coach, when we come back on the Black and Gold Report, we'll preview a crucial away game for UNCP football. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. I'm joined once again by UNCP head football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, believe it or not, we're halfway through the season already.
Yeah.
4-1 UNCP football, ranked last week. What's the midterm evaluation say for your team at this point in the season?
I think we've got a team that is playing at a B level right now, if you will. And we talked with our team about that. We are about 85% of our maximum capacity in how we're operating, I think. It goes all the way from practicing. It goes to playing the game on Saturdays. And we've talked a lot about Monday through Friday is a great reflection of what Saturday is going to look like. And we've got to make sure that Monday through Friday looks the way we want it to for the feeling that we want on Saturday. So I think right now our report card is we're a B team right now, and we're not at the premier level that we talk about, that we train, that we visualize ourselves being at. We've got to fix some things in terms of we've got to be able to put a four-quarter game together from an effort, focus, executional standpoint, and making sure that our energy, morale, and emotional fortitude is able to come together and all be on the same page. And so I think that's something going into the second half that we're really going to make sure that we try to get done.
Next up for the Braves, another road trip. This time you'll stay in-state, taking on Lenoir-Rhyne, a team you didn't face last year. This will be the first time this season you play a team that you didn't face a year ago. What are some of the challenges that creates, and then also the scouting report on the Bears?
I think the challenge in that is just the unfamiliarity. We've coached against this coaching staff before at different programs, and in terms of coaching-wise, we kind of will be able to get a beat on what they like to do and what their philosophy is and their scheme and that type of things. But from players, we'll have to go into a new environment again, which we've had decent practice at that. Tuskegee was a new environment. We were able to handle that very well. I anticipate the same thing, and we'll use that as a great example of we're going to go into somewhere that we haven't been before, and we're going to be able to make sure we shut out all of the outside things and focus on what's on the inside. We have a saying around the program that says there's no home field advantage when the visiting team focuses on what's on the inside instead of what's on the outside. And so our philosophy, our things that we believe in, the things that we talk about and hold firm to is the things that we've got to make sure that we focus on. And if we do that, I anticipate that we'll go up there and play very, very well.
Going back to facing an in-state opponent, you're 3-0 against teams in the state of North Carolina so far this year, 2 to go. What does it mean for your team, your program, to have that kind of success?
I think it's great. Obviously, from an in-state value of recruiting, we want to make sure that we are presenting ourselves very well to all the local prospects that we try to recruit, and you know, we want them to see us in a light where we're going to be the in-state Division II program that they want to choose and come and have success at. And so I think that's very, very valuable. Obviously, from just a regional rankings, regional you know, Division II landscape, we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a great position here coming down the stretch to know that these teams on our schedule, they matter, and we want to make sure we play very, very well against them so that anybody that has influence, they're able to see that and take note of that and see what type of team that we're going to be.
Lenoir-Rhyne historically has been a pretty good team. A little bit down this year if you look at the record. How do you keep your team focused on something like that with those two kind of influences?
Yeah, I think it's something that we constantly talk about, and it's one of our team goals on the field, and it's really the third of 3 that we say it's how we play, not who we play. And it doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter what the record is, it doesn't matter what they've done, what their past has been and what they are now. It doesn't matter. All that stuff can be thrown out the window. What only matters is how we do things Monday through Friday, and so that when we show up on Saturday, the work has been done, the focus, the energy, the effort, all that stuff has been put into place so that we can play very well on Saturday.
Coach Shane Richardson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Time for our last break. The Black and Gold Report returns right after these messages.